What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Ring the Bell Show. I'm Christy Francesco. Jason Kent, John McElroy is here with you guys. Man, this was I really thought that we were going to be able to do this show tonight, talking about a sweep of the St. Louis Cardinals. But look, at the end of the day, you lose 3 or 4 against the Braves, and then you come right back and you take 2 or 3. Whereas that third game Sunday afternoon was one that they had it. And I'm sure we're going to talk about how, Sir Anthony Dominguez is 100% cooked. He is absolutely toast.
Pump the brakes. They gave up 5 runs, before he even got in. The Phillies.
What's his job?
I get it, but they were getting blown out a lot of that game. I'm not going to put all the blame on Sir Anthony. It was big.
I'm not, but your job's to hold the lead. Yeah, and he hasn't held the lead in like
all year.
6 opportunities, most of it.
Year. He's like almost a 5 ERA.
He's been pretty bad this season. Let's not act like I was shocked that he blew it at the end of the game. Like, come on.
I'm not shocked, but at some point, I would like for one.
I would like for Walker not to give up 5 runs in 7 innings. That's what I agree. Would like.
I agree. I'm just stunned he got the 7 innings. That was nice.
He does. He saved that bullpen.
Yeah, I mean that's realistically what it seems like. It's every Sunday. It looks like they're at a point where if Lorenzen could be in there giving up 11 runs, but let's get him to the 7th inning because we got to give the bullpen some time. But I mean Lorenzen's in a bullpen now, so he'll be somebody else's problem next year. But nonetheless, guys, Phillies do take 2 or 3. They squander a game on Sunday to somehow not get that sweep. But look, 2 or 3 is good. The goal always is to win the series. John, I'll start with you and I'll move over to Jason. Your overall thoughts on the weekend and where is your comfort level as we get closer and closer now to the end of the season?
It kind of felt like they were kind of getting back on track this weekend, finally actually winning a series. They looked pretty bad the past 2 weeks. Since the summer started, pretty much, they look pretty bad, but they're kind of like they're getting back on track. They went down early. They fought back. They tied it up. Again, the bullpen just seems every time they come big late in games and they tie it up, the bullpen seems to just blow it like right in the 9th inning every single time we're in extra innings. We just don't, for some reason, those big hits and those big moments, we're just not capitalizing on those and winning those ball games that we could be winning. Down the road, I'm really nervous right now. I have no confidence in the pitching staff or the bullpen. I think the lineup's going to be fine. I'm not really too worried about that at all. Right now the pitching staff has been horrible. Bullpen's been horrible. And one thing I was thinking about, even though Ranger's been very, very, very good the last few starts, playoff time, do you actually put him in the closer role during the whole playoffs? Because who can you really trust? I mean, he's been pretty reliable. He was reliable last season.
Who's your third starter if you do that, though?
Hey, guess what? The Phillies are 20-8 in starts by Taiwan.
Yes, I mean, they win ball games.
Care about that? Like, I don't give me that. Don't give me that.
Not 5 runs. John brings up a great point, though. I mean, I don't think. Look, I don't think they're going to take that away from Kimbrel. I just don't think they're going to do that. And I really do think, though, in that game 3, I don't think you have a choice but to start Ranger, right?
He has to start in the playoffs.
He's been consistent. That's the thing. Like, that's where they're at.
I don't know.
I mean,
I don't trust Sanchez really in bullpen situations in the playoffs. I don't think Walker has any experience coming out of the bullpen ever, really. So, he's obviously going to be the 4th guy pitching. So, you're going to have a 4-man rotation. Are you going to go 5-man? How are they going to space that out and do all that?
Didn't Thompson say... 6. Yeah, that's the thing.
You have a guy that can go 6 and be very productive. It's very hard for me to take him out of that starting rotation when, Nola, you have no idea what you're getting. Outside of really Wheeler, Ranger's probably going to be your second. He could be the number 2 going into the playoffs. It's tough to say the guy that's probably your second best pitcher going into the playoffs, you want to move him out of your rotation because it doesn't matter if you're down in games. I don't think it really matters who you got coming out of the bullpen if you can't keep the lead.
Yeah. Now, my next question is: do we bring Abel and McGarry up and give him an opportunity to see what they can do out of the bullpen for the playoffs?
So
now,
no.
I mean, it is if Sir Anthony finishes the season the way he's finishing the way he's pitching now. I don't know. I think you bring up as many arms as you can. I think this is all hands on deck right now. And again, to talk about like that bullpen and where Dominguez has been and where he is now. By mid-September a year ago, he had a 1.57 ERA. He posted a 1.69 ERA and 18 strikeouts in 10 and a half and 10 and 2/3 innings in the playoffs. However, this season, man, he's blown 7 saves with 5 losses. He hasn't had as much, finish on his pitches. I mean, his location's off since, mid-August. His swinging strike rates on the fastball and slider are extremely down. On Friday, he was okay. He did hit the first batter he faced, and then he retired 3 in a row, 2 on strikeouts, which is fine. But again, overall, man, like when I'm watching Sir Anthony Dominguez, and I'll ask you guys, even like an Alvarado lately as well, when the ball leaves his hand, I don't think he has any idea where it's going. Now, John, is that a Real Muto issue as well? Like, should Real Muto be the kind of the captain back there, being like, look, do this, do that. You got to hit these spots.
Yeah, I mean, yes, he does, but he's not that type of catcher. He's more of a defensive guy and a hitting catcher. He's not really the guy who's going to receive pitches and work with the pitchers in that sense. And that's why I feel like whenever you notice Nola, whenever he does, when JT doesn't catch Nola, Nola's on and he's unbelievable. It's a weird feeling. Even when Napa's here, Napa's always the guy who caught Nola, and I feel like maybe that's Nola's issue too. Maybe he can't connect with JT certain ways, and maybe other pitchers can't connect with JT that way. And that could be an issue.
In Boston for all those years? Like he only caught
Lester. David Ross, Lester for David Ross.
That's right.
And then, when Ross went to Chicago.
Chicago. Yeah. That's right. Okay, it was always crazy. Like you're right. When Nola's with Stubbs, it's a little bit different performances. I mean, Nola's kind of sucked.
Carlton was like that too. I forget who, because he hated when Bob Boone called him. I forget who the other catcher was, but he hated when Bob Boone was his catcher.
That's hilarious. So yeah, I mean, as it stands right now, the Phillies are only half game up on the Chicago Cubs at that top spot in the wild card, which is just crazy to me. Like it's like the Phillies had a perfect opportunity to legitimately own this. The Cubs have lost 4 games in a row. They're 3-7 in their last 10. I mean, the Phillies aren't much better. The Phillies are 4-6 in their last 10.
We're 3 up right now.
You're 3 up of the Cubs?
Yes.
I thought they were half a game.
No,
I'm sorry. They're 3.5.
So yeah, Cubs are up a half a game whenever now.
I'm sorry.
3 games up.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, the Phillies are 3.5 games up, and I thought, I mean, with the way the Cubs have been playing, I thought they would have been 5-6 games. I mean, they had the opportunity now to completely own it at this point. And I feel like they're just letting like a team like the Cubs just kind of hang around, because the Phillies, at any point the Cubs can go on a heater and maybe win 5-6 in a row. And with the Phillies got 3 more games against the Braves now, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, who knows how that's going to go. I'm still not comfortable at all as we get to this final 3 weeks of the season. John, do you have any worry right now, especially, you got 3 against in Atlanta at the top of the week here?
No, because they have to play 500 baseball the rest of the way. They're going to play 500 baseball.
I agree, especially with that schedule.
They're going to make the playoffs. They're going to play 500 baseball. So I'm not really worried about that. I'm worried about where they might be positioned, but I just don't see these teams at the bottom of them going on a crazy, like, what's there's 12 games left, however many there's left, the crazy. They win 10-12. I don't see the teams below them winning 10-12 to where they can overtake that third spot. I still think they're going to I think they're going to play 500 and better baseball the rest of the way. So I'm not too concerned about it. It's more concerned, can the pitching staff figure it out and they're ready to go when the playoffs start? That's my thing about it. That's the only thing I'm worried about.
Yeah, Jason, when it comes to that pitching staff and the bullpen as a whole, where do you put your worry level at?
In terms of playoffs, it's a 10. I don't believe in it at all. The guy that pitched Friday night, the guy that I championed for, the guy that I said there's going to be the Cy Young winner this year, has totally and utterly crapped the bed. And all the hate I've been giving Schwarber, I probably should be giving to Nola too. He's looked so bad, and it's You can't change it, and you can't change what we've seen all season in half a month.
Yeah.
And I get, they say get to October and see what happens because you never know. I
You
just
don't.
don't trust this I don't trust the pitching staff, and I don't trust the bullpen, because this offense is going to have to put up 7-8 runs, and sometimes that may not be enough, and it's kind of worrisome. They can get hot, but I have no faith that this pitching can do what. And Dominguez, this whole season, there's that one rain game, the game that we ended up winning that clinched the division, where he came in and just threw terribly. It feels like since then he's just something was off. And I get it was rain, but I know he looked really bad that game, but all season last year he looked great. And he comes in this year. That's my biggest shock, is he just doesn't.
Yeah.
You figure he was going to be the anchor, that bullpen, really be the guy, and
I thought he was
no
going to be the
faith.
closer. I thought Kimber was going to
I
be the
did
guy they
too.
brought in to set up games. I thought he was the second best pitcher, second best bullpen guy all last year, besides Edwin Diaz. That I thought Terry Anthony was that guy, and I thought he was going to be.
I mean, I thought he had the stuff for sure.
And I thought we found a guy, like we had a guy like a Hader. We had a guy like a Mariano Rivera, somebody who can just come there and shut it down in the ninth inning. And
Hader. I think Hader might be a Philly next year.
So he should be.
He should. There is no excuse as to why he shouldn't be the closer next year.
Because they have no starters. I'd rather go get a few starters.
Hey, I agree, but the only starter out there, he's already on your roster with a 5 ERA. So if you look at Aaron Nola, his last 3 starts, he hasn't made it past the 5th inning.
Oh God.
That's where we're at with him. If you look at his last 3 starts, 4 2/3, 7 hits, 2 earned. 4 1/3, 7 hits, 4 earned, and then 4 2/3, 8 hits, 7 earned.
I'm not going to compliment Dean often, but Dean has said this since we've started this, and I've done nothing but made fun of him, and Nola has done nothing but prove Dean right.
Yeah, I know. And go ahead.
Would you go a situation where maybe, I think they're making the playoffs and everything. His next 3 starts, maybe you only let him pitch 3 innings and let him figure it out. Maybe he pitches 3 good innings, he builds off that. You tell him we got another 3 good innings, and maybe get him some type of confidence. I get it. You want him to pitch more, pitch longer, but I think they're still going to make the playoffs, and maybe that's when you piggyback Lorenzen off of him.
That's a good point. I was about to think the same thing. Yeah.
You're 9 years in the majors, however long he's been.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah,
it's not like I can't. You can't do that. You're in a contract year. You're the guy. You're supposed to be the ace of the staff. If not, you're number 2. No, come on. I think that's if you can't figure it out in September baseball, when you're fighting for this wild card slot and you're fighting to make another run back to the World Series, if you can't figure it out and you need something like that, and I get it's the same hate I gave Trey Turner for the standing ovation. It could work, but I just, you can't, if you have to go resort to that, to me, he's already gone.
And then that's the thing too. I know before you said the pitching stats been great statistically, like what they say, but for us when we're watching, it doesn't look like it's that good. And you always say let's give credit to the pitch, because this is a pitching coach situation. He needs to be able to somehow figure and get this guy on track. And his best season was not with this pitching coach. So could it be possibly it's the pitching coach that he's not the guy for the team to make this staff overall better? Because you can see Walker was great to start the year, and then all of a sudden now Walker he's giving up 5-6 runs a game, and even if they're still winning with him, he's not been a good pitcher.
I will say too, what's hurt Nola is he also hasn't developed a third pitch. He doesn't have an out pitch. He's got that really good curveball, which works, maybe 40% of the time, 50% of the time. He's got a 92 to 94 mile per hour fastball at best. But he doesn't have that third pitch.
It's crazy because he has so many strikeouts every year. It just don't make sense. But he doesn't have that out pitch.
Yeah. He just doesn't.
But if his curveball's on, he's realistically unhittable.
Oh, and he's got that curveball rolling. It's a beauty. It's really a sight to be seen. I love his curveball when it's on. His fastball is on when it's going over the fence. But Zach Wheeler, he had that one bad start against Atlanta where he went 5 innings with 7 hits, 6 earned. But his previous 4 starts, man, 6 innings, and then back-to-back 7-inning starts. Is this a thing now as we get to the end? If we're that confident, are we putting Wheeler only in at like a 5-inning maximum because, he did have that dead arm issue last season. I can't see how many innings does he have this year? This year, he's already had 175 innings, which is 22 innings more than he had last season. So is that a conversation, guys, do you think will be had? Maybe he gets an extra day off here and there at the end of the season? Because look, if Nola's not on, Zach Wheeler becomes the most important player on your roster. And that's where we're going to be at. Do you think there's going to start being, I hate the fact that I have to even say this in modern day anything. Is there going to be a load management with Zach Wheeler in this final 3 weeks, guys?
I don't think so. But I am worried. I'm very worried about the dead arm after last season. And he's always had, he had arm problems. Last season, he just, towards the end, he was like 92, 93. And even I think his first start in the World Series, or remember in the playoffs, he had a few of those starts where he just wasn't hitting. So I am worried, but I don't think you can really, I don't know of something where not pitching him an inning or two here and there down the stretch. At this point, if it's going to affect him, I think it's going to get him. So I'd rather have him, especially if he's on, give me the best shot to win, because I don't trust this bullpen enough to take my guy out after 5, no matter what the lead is.
Yeah, John, how about you?
I haven't really heard anything about his arm at all this year, so I'm not too concerned and too worried about load managing him. But possibly if you have that wrapped up that last week of the season, maybe not even start him, or maybe only throw him like 3 innings just to give him a little rest. Like, you know what I mean? Because if you already have it wrapped up, why let the guy go 7 innings?
I agree. I'm just worried because, like you said, Jay, that dead arm is a little bit of a worry I'm going to have, especially since he had the dead arm last year. He's already pitched 22 innings more than he pitched last season, so that becomes a little bit of a worry, a
but
concern.
Also last year he came in hurt last year.
He did.
So
You're right.
So maybe that was just a thing that like held him back all year long. This year he didn't come in. He didn't come in hurt, did he? I think he just started late because of something going on.
Yeah. Well, I think it's because the year before he threw 215 innings, so they were kind of just getting him back into getting his arm a little bit of more rest, which I'm assuming that's what that was. But he's on pace to pitch almost 200 innings again this year. So hey, good for him on that. All right, so let's kind of go over to the offense real quick here. I want to start with somebody who we should have been, I hate saying this because I do love the guy, but John is going to have a pretty good field day on this one. And I really am starting to agree with John, and I'm going to start getting on that bandwagon as well. Let's talk about JT Realmuto here for a minute. JT went 0 for 8 Saturday and Sunday. He's in probably his 8th slump of the season. He's 4 for 40. He's 4 for 32 in his last 8 games without an extra base hit or even a walk. He's hit just 190 with runners in scoring position after hitting 280 the prior 2 years. I don't know what else to really say about JT. We see how his home and road splits are like embarrassingly weird. He bats 100, almost 100 points better on the road than he does at home. I think his defense has definitely taken a step back this season. I've seen him make a lot of pretty rough throws.
His pop time's still the fastest in baseball.
His pop time's still the fastest, but that accuracy is not what it was the last 2 years. We've all seen him make some pretty poor throws to second base, a few awful ones down to third. I'm going to start with you, John, because you've been championing this forever. I think this might be and should be the last season we see JT behind the plate for the Phillies, unless maybe next year his load just kind of goes. To catch 135, 40 games is insanity for how much they really do work him. But, over $20 million for this guy for the next 2 seasons is a pretty hefty tag when this team has significant needs in that pitching staff. I'll go to you, man. What is your outlook on JT right now?
Well, he's a catcher. Catchers don't last this long and being that good of hitters that long. I mean, Posey retired at like 33. This is where JT's at right now. And Posey just had it. His body couldn't take it anymore. And the idea when they gave him the contract, it was he's going to play first base and not catch. He's going to stop catching and playing first base more. And they still have yet to get a guy who can actually be a backup catcher like Stubbs. He's good for 1 or 2 games a week. Most of the time, just one game. They don't have a guy where you can say, you know what, JT, you can DH for the next 3 games. We have a guy who can catch. They had a guy in Ohapi, which I would have never gave JT the contract to begin with when you had a guy in your minor league system who looked like he could play a little bit. I would have never gave him that second contract and maybe give somebody a 1 or 2 year deal and knowing you had Ohapi coming up. It's just they're like running backs. You don't give them a second contract unless there's somebody like Adley Rutschman. You're going to give Adley Rutschman a second contract because he's going to be DH and he's going to at some point in his career he's not like in 5-6 years he might not catch ever again. And they already have a catching prospect who's pretty good there. So why give a guy a second contract knowing you give him $25 million when obviously pitching is a big need right now? With that $25 million, you could have put $10 million on a catcher and then another 15 on another starter or another bullpen or something that makes this team a little bit better.
Jason?
I think we're overreacting a little bit. I get his offense not there. You just go back, look at the stats. So from August through beginning of August through September 6th, he was batting just that time period, batting 308 with a 364 on base percentage. So I think we're just going to have to deal with, and I know you even brought it up, our first show we ever had, Chris, you were very much down on JT's offense. I think at this point, I'm more worried about the defense not being there. I feel like you're right. A lot of the throws aren't there that he typically makes, and you don't know why, but there are, the stolen bases are up, so his defense is much more important. I get what we're going to get with the bat. He's going to give us some hot moments and give us some cold moments. You just hope in the playoffs that those hot moments are there more often than not. I mean, he's not looking like bad, because when he's looking bad, it's like Nick Castellanos last year, terrible, not doing anything. But I'm more worried about that defense. That's what concerns me more, because I was okay with paying his price tag if you're, the standout guy behind that plate and just hosing them all and, doing all that. I'm okay with you batting 240 if you're a great catcher, but when you're not doing all that other stuff, it gets kind of tough. And it could be you don't see catchers play this many games anymore. They just don't do it. So it could be something where you may need to figure out, bring in somebody else next year that can play half the time with him, where you can get him off and get him DHing some. But then it's the other problem. We have so many other guys that need to DH too. So you may have to move them.
So John, what do you do in the offseason then? If this season doesn't end the way we want it to, which is obviously a World Series, but even like a deep playoff run, if this ends early, there's going to be changes that need to be made on this roster, because there needs to be some upgrades in a few places. What do you do?
I think I don't know if anybody's going to take. It's 1 year though. It's a 1 year deal still. So after next year, it's 1 year. I believe he has left. So I think somebody might end up taking a flyer on him. Maybe the Phillies pay $10 million of that salary or something like that. Somebody might take him. But I think that's what you do. But I'm going to defend him actually slightly. He caught until November last year. He started catching in the World Baseball Classic this year. Is he tired? That's a lot of catching for, and he's like, it's not like, and that's the worst part about it. Like, you're not helping him out any possible way by letting him play this many games. Like, they should have known that. Even Salvador Perez, when the Royals won that World Series, he said he never recovered the next season from that World Series. He just could never, his body couldn't recover as a catcher. So like, I think that is part of the reasoning too. And I think that's what it was. Trey's problem too is he was probably dead from the World Baseball Classic, and then he got in a little bit of slump, and then it just kept piling on. And now he's back out of it. And I just think catching such a more like grueling position, you're up and down, you're moving around, you're blocking balls, getting balls fouled off of you. I don't think he's recovering from all those innings behind the plate this year and last year.
Yeah, I mean, he's caught 126 games this year. He caught 139 last year, 135 the year before. So, man, this dude's catching a lot of baseball games. He'll be 33 at the beginning of the season next year, March 18th. So he'll be turning 33 years old with that 2 years left. I'm going to assume he's got at least probably one more year bona fide as the starting catcher of this baseball team. I'm assuming next season he'll be back. But look, again, if things don't end well, there's got to be some decisions made because you need pitching. And with the market being bare, something has to be done. Like you have to get it from somewhere, and it has to cost you. And with Painter going down for the next year, that hurts because he also becomes untradeable.
I don't think he'd be. I think somebody would take him. Video. Like
It'd be
say,
tough.
I think
You
like
don't know
say
what he
a
is though at
situation-
this point.
Say a situation comes up, they exit out early. You send JT and Painter, maybe another prospect or two to Milwaukee for Burns. Like I think that's a doable deal. That way, then you have JT will be DHing maybe every other day or every 3 days, and because they have Contreras, you can have Contreras to catching and DHs. They can do like an alternating rotation, kind of like how Atlanta does with Darno and Murphy, and when it was Darno and Contreras. Like there's situations like that, like where you can put him in a better situation, and then you bring in an arm, and then maybe you still have to go find out. You have to go out in the offseason and sign a catcher. I don't know who's going to be out there and who's going to be available, but I mean the Yankees signed Jose Trevino, who was pretty much at the tail end of his career, and he's been fantastic for them.
No, I agree. No, I think you're right. There's going to be a lot of decisions to be made, and I think, I mean, if Painter doesn't get hurt, you're getting a significantly better trade offers than now. I mean,
well, if Painter doesn't get hurt, I don't think we're having bad this. Like, I think he's going to have a solid season as your 5 guy come in the rotation this year if he never gets hurt.
I mean, yeah, he could come in next year and be he could have came in this year and been your 3. I mean, the way Walker's been this year, I mean, Ranger is good, but he's kind of been also inconsistent as well. I mean, just looking at Walker, like his last quality start, which is at least 6 innings, no more than 3 earned runs, was July 31st. Since then, he has a 5.85 ERA. However, and this is crazy, the Phillies are 20-9 in his outings. They've lost back-to-back games behind him for the first time since the first 2 weeks of the season. So, but still, that's just pure dumb luck. So
yeah, wins don't matter in baseball. Like
wins don't matter in baseball. I agree. Well, they don't. Yeah, I think they're overrated for pitching. That's for sure.
That's what I mean, like for a team, it matters that you win the game, but like for pitching, it doesn't matter.
Right. And when you have a 5.85 ERA, and over the last 2 months, your team averages 7 runs a game, you're going to win a lot of those games. All right, we're going to take a quick pause for the calls. We're going to come back and we'll wrap things up and talk about the week ahead. But for now, as I was so much ridiculed before we started the show, because I did not realize I was still wearing my 49ers jersey because I just wrapped up my Niners post-game stream right before we did this. The good thing is football season is back. And you know what that means? Touchdown dances, Sunday tailgates, epic fantasy football showdowns. But fellas, let's not forget the real MVP of the season. Introducing the all-new Beard Hedger Pro Kit by Manscaped, your ultimate luxury beard grooming experience. This kit is your secret weapon for staying sharp on and off the field. But so please do not fumble this opportunity. Head to manscaped.com and elevate your grooving game with the Beard Hedger Pro Kit. Join the 9 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped. You heard that right, 9 million men, or 109 Lincoln Financial Fields. So go to manscaped.com and get 20% off plus free shipping with our code baseball20. The Beard Hedger Pro Kit is a grooming powerhouse built for precision and style, just like your favorite quarterback. This kit tackles beard touch-ups effortlessly, ensuring you're always prepped for the next play. Plus, it has a compact design for easy portability. This cordless trimmer has a rotary wheel that gives you 20 hair cutting lengths, all with one guard. So no more messy drawers full of extra add-ons. I can't stand that. I did that for a long time. Thank God this is done with Manscaped. That's right. Face grooming doesn't need to be hard. Get 20 different beard lengths in just one guard. Plus, it's waterproof, so you can shave in the shower to avoid all that hair in the sink. The titanium-coated T-blade is tough on hair, but smooth on your face, leading to a single-stroke efficiency that brings satisfaction one stroke at a time. That's what she said. Remember, the Beard Hedger Pro Kit is your go-to teammate for maintaining a sharp and polished beard, whether you're on the field, the office, or anywhere in between. Grab yours today and experience the game-changing difference. After grooming your facial turf, show some love with some Manscaped's liquid formulations. The beard shampoo, beard conditioner, beard oil, and beard balm are the key to feeling victorious and taking your beard game to the next level this year. Get 20% off and free shipping with our code BASEBALL20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use our code BASEBALL20. Your grass is not artificial. Keep it shaved with Manscaped. Well, clearly Jason does not listen to that ad because my man
grass
is just
artificial, bro. I was dancing,
Yeah.
but I just want to let everybody know my grass is artificial. See, I do listen.
Is. He's about to tear his knee up. All right, guys, we have a 3-game set, Tuesday, Wednesday in Atlanta against that absolute juggernaut of a baseball team.
Oh, the team that just got swept by the Miami Marlins?
Yeah,
that's talking about that team.
They don't care. They just wrapped up the division.
They just got swept by and then we're going to doubt. Nope. Yep, that team. Okay,
well,
I want to make sure.
Regardless, they did set a record. They are the first team in baseball history to have 5 players hit 30 or more home runs in a season.
God.
So that is
pretty good.
That's last year
they were almost the first team to do what? The infield, right? The infield, I'll have 30 home runs.
Oh yeah, you're right. Jesus.
I think
Ozzy Albies is hitting
2 or
30
something
home
like
runs. He's
Ozzy
getting
Albies has 30 home runs.
I didn't realize he was that good at this point.
Yeah,
Gosh, that team is so.
They say he's the strongest guy on the team, like pound for pound. He's the strongest dude.
I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm pound for pound the strongest dude I know too. Yeah, come on, come on.
I love you for that. So yeah, look, we got, regardless of what happened this weekend, the Braves are still the Braves. They friggin' clinched the division on our home field and acted like they won the damn World Series. But look, I'll ask you guys, you see a different result in this series than we saw last week? John, I'll start with you.
Offensively, I think we will. I don't think it will change much because we did score a lot of runs that last series, but I just looked at the pitching staff and I'm not confident.
Why? Is that necessary?
That was rude. It's rude, Anthony, but
I'm just glad he spelled pound correctly.
Yeah.
I see them losing 2 of 3. I just looked at the pitching. I think they win game 1, they lose the next 2. Strider's going to shove it to us again. I just know it. I'm just going to.
Jason's more optimistic than I am.
Oh,
I could see him get I could really see him getting swept this weekend. The
Marlins pissed the Braves off that bad.
I think that's what because the Braves still need to clinch, and I know they're 5 games up. They still need to clinch. They still want that number 1 seed.
Right.
So they're still going to come out. You can't, they're not going to come out cold again. The Dodgers won 3 in a row. So they're, they're only 5 back. So it is possible for them to get the number 1 in the home field. But I do think the Braves kind of want to prove a point. They just got swept by Miami, kind of a hangover. I think they come out we may have a shot. I think John's right. If we win, it's going to be Friday night. Because when you get there, not Friday, on Monday. Because you get to Tuesday, Wednesday against those guys. I don't know if we can hit them.
Now, Nola is pitching during the day. 12
I don't care
start.
when Nola pitches.
I don't know. I have a weird feeling about that.
Well, the Braves could also be without Acuna. He did miss consecutive games with a calf strain, and his status for.
And I wouldn't. To be honest, if I'm the Braves, you already had the division locked up. I wouldn't play Acuna the rest of the season at all because you just saw what happened to Aaron Rodgers with his calf. Don't let it happen to this guy.
Yeah, I agree.
Don't. Didn't risk it.
So you two have them. Jason
definitely
has them
losing
swept,
the series.
getting swept out. John, you're losing 2 of 3. I think they win 2 of 3. I
If
don't
they
know
do, that's
why.
because if they do win 2 of 3, it's because Nola pitched out of his mind on Wednesday. They're losing.
Well,
They're losing the second game.
I feel like he's going to do that because it's almost like that kind of start is now due in the rotation of his suck ass starts. Like he's either 2 on and then a good one, or he's 4 bad and he'll give you 1 or 2 really good ones. And then, Phillies beat writers will get all the worthless stats and write a massive article trying to tell Phillies fans how good he really is. I still haven't heard from that person in a while. It's so funny.
Can Bohm and Casty both get to 100 RBIs too?
Yeah.
That's a question.
I think so. Here's the other thing. What's going on with Bryce Harper? He's hitting 190 in his last 2 weeks. His last month he's still hitting 280 with a 420 on base percentage, and it's crazy. In the last 25 games, he's hitting 277. He's got a 420 on base and a 1026 OPS.
He's saving his bullets.
I hope so.
Because he was trying to get hot and make a big run for the division, and it wasn't working in August. So he's like, you know what? I'm going to save all my stuff for when October comes, and the Braves won't know what hit them.
The problem is
crazy
the problem is they can't pitch, so it doesn't matter what he could hit 4 home runs a game, and Bryce will give up 6 in the eighth.
Slams.
Yeah, it feels like he could though. You could bring him in. He throws 90 plus miles an hour. You never know. The dude's been a catcher. The dude's been an outfielder. The dude's been a first baseman. Yeah. Let's put him at pitcher. Let's give him game 1 of the World Series. We'll make it. Yeah, we have Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper's going to do it. He is. But I feel like if you make a saving his bullets a comment about anyone in baseball, I 100% feel like it could be Bryce Harper. You're
right.
He feels like he can turn it on whenever he wants.
Yeah.
And he just doesn't feel like playing right now. He's a little tired. He wants to rest. He doesn't feel like running those bases as much.
Well, then hit some home runs and you can just jog the bases. But I'm trying to think. I think he's going to end up. He might get close to 100 walks, and he still missed a bunch of time.
He missed about a month. Maybe
he missed. I think he missed 40 games. So
another good stat. There's somebody that's going to finish with back-to-back 200 strikeout seasons.
That's true.
That we're gonna say he's a great player.
No one has ever said he's a great player.
I'm pretty sure.
They said he's a really good producer because that's what he is.
Of strikeouts.
There's a difference. That's fine if he strikes out a ton. Ryan Howard struck out a ton.
Not this much.
Yes, he did.
He never struck out 200 times.
Yeah, but also when Ryan Howard was hot, he was hitting 250, dude.
I agree. No, I'm not.
Wait, Ryan Howard was hot. He was batting like 280, 290.
Yeah.
Okay? He wasn't batting 197. And since that 201 comment.
I understand. I get it. And that's fine. I'm just trying to find.
My problem is leadoff. I don't want him there. Like everybody talking about how many home runs he hits, and he's this power hitter, this and that, everything. Then why isn't he hitting 4 and 5? Why?
He's Max Muncy. Max Muncy. That's where I always went. Like Dodgers have the same type of guy. The Dodgers are smart enough to bat him 4th. If this kid, if he was batting, that's my issue. And I got to stop hating him. It's definitely Robert.
It's Robert.
Yeah, it's Robert. I'll give you that because this kid would have like 120 RBIs.
Oh my god! Yeah, he would. If he was hitting 5th in this lineup.
Yeah, just imagine. Like you have Harper who can get on base like nobody else.
Turner's
been the best player in baseball that maybe besides
since August 1st. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean he's been the best player. So if you have him there too, you put Stott who can work the count and get everything. I mean, Boom can you can have Turner, Boom hitting 2, Harper 3, and then him and then maybe Casty 5. I mean 4 because he doesn't like doing too many right lefties. So and you have him 5th. You're telling me that guy's not going to have 100? He'd be like Matt Olson with the 130 RBIs. He may not have the average that Olson has, but he's gonna. So I don't. That's what bothers me most about it.
In his last 25 games, Schwarber has 12 home runs, 20 RBIs. He's hitting 261 with a 425 on base and a 1110 OPS.
That's okay.
So can I know his last 10 games? Because I don't think they're
his last 13 games. He's hitting 260 with a 440 on base percentage and 1010 OPS.
All right, can we go to
5 home runs, 10 RBIs. His last week, he's hitting 215
with 1 home run. Correct, 2 home runs.
2 home runs. Okay. Yeah. So look,
What's
I
his
agree with you.
last at bat?
I have
I
no.
don't
I
know
don't
what
have.
He
I don't
looked
have
lost.
that.
I will say this one thing though. Besides that first game, he looked lost at the Brave series, which
He
is
did.
actually
Oh, he looked.
it actually
Yeah.
is terrifying. Because when he was on that hot streak, and everybody's like, you guys are all getting mad at me and Jason about all this other stuff about
Hold
how
on.
we're
I don't get
trashing
mad.
him.
You guys assume I'm mad. I
Whatever.
just have fun.
You're just saying all this stuff. Like they were against bad baseball teams. What happened when he faced a good baseball team?
Yeah.
What is it? I think he struck out 6 consecutive times, maybe, or something like
I
that.
think at one point he was like 0 for 9.
With like 8 strikeouts.
Yeah,
So,
he was.
struggling
Yeah,
last week. Yeah,
yeah, I agree.
but the dude's just supposed to hit bombs. So
did we have the Dodgers one time? And we had the Dodgers winning series, right? Or no?
Not in the last. Not in the rest of the season.
Okay. For some reason,
Yeah,
I felt like we were gonna play the
so
Dodgers
there's
again.
the Phillies have 7
No.
games. So we talked about the Braves, and then the Phillies end the week with a 4-game homestand against the Mets. Real quick, guys, what do you see out of this week? I mean, I know you guys basically have them getting swept out against the Braves. Is this a team that can then come right back and win 3 or 4 or sweep a team like the Mets?
They should, but I actually think 2 wins this week.
The whole week?
I think
2 and 5?
I think they get swept by the Braves, and I think they go 2-2 against.
And they split with it. I swear I'll throw this laptop through a wall.
That's
if
3.
They
That's
go
3 wins.
No,
2 and 5. But they're playing 2 plus 5 and 7
games this week. Yeah.
No, they play 7 games this week.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I have 2 wins. 2-2 against the Mets and 0-3 against the Braves.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I gotta look. I mean,
it's okay.
That seems bad.
Elementary school was tough for me too.
That's funny. But hey, look, and then the Phillies end the season against the Pirates and the Mets. So if the Phillies can somehow string together 2 of 3 against the Braves, the end of the season could look pretty good. So
yeah, but that Pirates series scares me because for some reason
they have nothing to play for. They can play spoilers.
We have nothing.
Mets.
Yeah, you don't think the Mets like that? You don't think
the Mets the Mets want to beat the Mets? I
think the Mets have no heart. I think they're a gutless franchise.
Oh, that's true.
Okay with that.
Their manager said they were proud after getting swept by the Braves, and he's proud of them. He's like,
he'll be proud on the unemployment line at the season.
They play the Phillies enough, they can knock them out of the playoffs. If somehow they come up and take 7 against the Phillies. No, they shouldn't. Philly should easily lock this up. Phillies,
and you have to believe that's a talk in their clubhouse.
You 100% believe they want to knock the Phillies out of the playoffs. 100%. If I'm the Braves and the Mets, what better feeling would I get than just knocking the Phillies out of the playoffs? They're not even. You're done. I think that's got to be. So it is worried. Phillies better show up this last 2 weeks because it's too much division games for you to go in and be like, we're just going to walk over the bad team.
Yeah, I agree. All right, that wraps us up. If you guys want to go again, themanscaped.com, use our code baseball20 for 20% off plus free shipping. Head over to SeatGeek.com right now. Use our code ONTHEBUMP for $20 off your very first ticket purchase. And guess what? Our merch store is open. Head over to ringthebellshop.myshopify.com. You guys will find koozies, you'll find hoodies, long sleeve shirts, t-shirts, and come playoff time, we're going to add a couple more things as well. So head over there and get your show gear. So again, all the socials at ringthebell856. If you guys are watching us on YouTube, smash that like button, and then of course subscribe as well. We would love that. So it seems like every day I'm seeing new subscribers pop up, which is phenomenal, and I really appreciate that. We're just going to keep doing the best we can. And again, we have another show coming up Wednesday, immediately following. Yes, of course, you can buy me for a day, Anthony. I can, everybody has a price, so count me in on that one.
He's cheap.
Yes. So yeah, head over to YouTube, give us a subscribe and give us a like. We really appreciate it. Once the playoffs start, like we said, as long as the Phillies, which I believe they'll make the playoffs, we will be here for post game after every game. Doesn't matter when it ends, whether it's by myself or with the 3 that you see here, or maybe I would like for all four of us to get on here for post game during the postseason. That would be great. So yeah, we're going to keep doing that. We're going to be here a lot over the next couple months, hopefully, and see what happens. I'm Chris C. Francesco. That's Jason Kent and Johnny Mack. And we'll catch you guys down the road. We'll see you guys Wednesday night, immediately following, I assume, right after the third game against the Braves, and then we'll preview.
Well, that's at 12 o'clock.
Oh, so okay. Oh, we'll talk that night of Wednesday, and then we'll recap that, and then we will discuss and preview the Mets weekend series. All right, guys, have a good one, and as always, go Phils.